The first time I realized someone had turned my cabin into a nightclub, I wasn't even there. I was sitting in my apartment in Riverton City when my phone lit up and my neighbor said, "Ethan, why are 5 party buses climbing Cedar Spur Road toward your place?" I opened my security app and watched strangers pour onto my land like it was a public park. 2 minutes later I saw it. The chain on my gate was gone, the padlock was dangling like a broken tooth, and a banner was stretched across my porch that said Summit View HOA Summer Jam. And right under it, like the cherry on a ridiculous cake, someone had set up a folding table with a clipboard like they were checking people in at my front door. I bought that cabin in Silver Pine County for one reason. No homeowners association, no committees, no community standards, no busybodies measuring my grass with a ruler. It was my quiet place, my reset button, my little chunk of peace up in the trees. I didn't even have close neighbors, just a few folks scattered along the ridge, the kind of people who wave from a truck window and keep it moving. So when a letter showed up at my city address with glossy paper and a return label that screamed official, I almost laughed. Summit View Homeowners Association. It said like it was a government agency. Inside was a polite little paragraph that wasn't polite at all. They wanted to rent my cabin for a weekend event, and it was signed by the HOA president, Diane Harper. Diane didn't ask like a normal person. She wrote like someone who's never been told no. She actually included a line that said, "We understand you are rarely present," and I remember thinking, that's a weird way to say you've been creeping. I replied the same day. Short, clean, no wiggle room. No, this property is not part of your homeowners association. Do not contact me again about renting it. I even attached the parcel info, the boundary map, the whole boring legal sandwich because I like my no to be documented. For a while it was quiet, but it wasn't the peaceful kind of quiet. It was the kind where you know someone is plotting and you're just waiting to see what form their entitlement takes. I tightened up my security anyway. New cameras cloud back up a gate sensor that logs every open and close. Not because I wanted drama, because I wanted facts. Then that Saturday hit. It started with my neighbor Mike Lawson calling like his hair was on fire. "Ethan, I'm not trying to be dramatic," he said, "but there are buses, big ones, and they're heading to you." I pulled up the feed and felt my stomach drop. 5 buses, one after another, crawling up the dirt road like a parade I didn't order. And behind them, pickup trucks with coolers, people carrying speakers, someone dragging a plastic tub like they were setting up a beach party. My gate camera caught the moment it happened. A guy in a neon tank top hopped out, yanked on the chain, then another guy came in with bolt cutters like he'd done it 100 times. Snip. The chain fell. No hesitation, no maybe we're at the wrong place, just confidence. The kind that only comes from thinking you're protected by someone important. The gate swung open and the convoy rolled in. I watched them flood my driveway, step onto my porch, and start moving my stuff like my place was an Airbnb and the owner was just a roomer. Then I saw the banner. Summit View, HOA Summer Jam in giant letters flapping against my cabin like a flag planted on conquered land. I didn't yell into the phone. I didn't threaten anybody through the camera. I called the sheriff's office, gave them my address, told them I had live video of forced entry, and said the words that get people moving: trespass, property damage, active crowd. While I was on hold, I noticed something else on the feed. A woman in sunglasses, perfect hair, crisp white blouse, that tight little posture like she's perpetually disappointed in the world, was walking around with a clipboard. Even through grainy video, I could tell exactly who she was. Diane Harper. Of course she came in person. People like that don't just break rules, they supervise the breaking. By the time deputies pulled up, my porch looked like the entrance to a festival. People were laughing, music was thumping. Somebody had already put drinks on my outdoor table like it was theirs. And Diane stepped forward and started talking to the deputy like she owned his paycheck. "I'm the president of the Homeowners Association," she said loud enough for everyone to hear, and this event was approved. The deputy asked a simple question. "Do you own this property?" Diane didn't even blink. "The owner is not here. He's rarely here. This is a community function." That's when I heard it in my head clear as day. She's using my absence like a permission slip. The deputy asked again, slower this time. "Ma'am, do you have written consent from the property owner?" Diane did that Karen thing, tilted her head, smiled like the deputy was a toddler, and said, "We have documentation." And then she added real casual, He's in Riverton City until Tuesday. He won't be coming." I watched the deputy's face change, because that wasn't an assumption anymore. That was knowledge. The deputy started clearing people out, and the crowd got ugly fast. Some guy shouted, "We paid for this," like that was my problem. Another woman pointed at my cabin and said, "It's fine, it's insured," like I was a vending machine. Diane tried to keep control, waving that clipboard like it was a badge. "Everyone stay calm," she snapped. "This is being handled." Handled by who? Diane, the woman who just had my gate cut open. When the last bus finally turned around and drove off, I didn't feel victorious. I felt drained. My gate was trashed. My porch railing had scuffs. My outdoor lights were cracked, and the inside of my cabin, thank God, was still locked up because I always keep the interior deadbolted. But now I had a bigger mess. Reports, repairs, insurance calls, and the headache of knowing someone in a suit thought they could just take. For about a day, I seriously considered doing the easiest thing. File the claim, fix the gate, move on. Not because I thought I deserved it, because I didn't want my life swallowed by one HOA president with a superiority complex. Then the twist hit my inbox like a brick. A representative from the bus company called and said, "Mr. Mercer, we've been contacted by law enforcement and we need to verify something. We have a contract with your name on it." I laughed one sharp little laugh. "That's impossible," I said. "I didn't hire anyone." She emailed it over. And there it was, my name, my cabin address, my signature, and a neat little line that claimed I was the event host. It was a decent forgery, I'll give them that. Not perfect, but close enough to fool a company that books party buses all day. What they didn't count on was the digital trail. I checked the file details, the metadata, the creation timestamp, the author tag. And sitting right there like Diane had stamped it herself was a user profile that matched her. Not someone, not unknown, Diane. Then the bus company added the final piece. "Payment didn't come from you," she said. "It came from an account labeled Summit View HOA. Now, it wasn't just trespassing. It was impersonation, fraud, misuse of HOA funds, a paper trail with my name dragged through it. I forwarded everything to my attorney and the investigator assigned to the case. Video of the gate being cut, time-stamped. Diane on my porch claiming she had documentation recorded, the contract attached, the payment source confirmed. A week later, I got called to a hearing the HOA tried to spin as a miscommunication. I walked into that room calm with a folder so thick it looked like a phone book. Diane was at the front already talking, already controlling, already acting like she could talk her way out of gravity. She saw me and her smile froze just for a second. I didn't scream. I didn't perform. I handed copies to the board members and said, "This is my property. It's not part of your homeowners association. Here's the footage of your event entering after my gate was cut. Here's the contract forged in my name. Here's the payment from HOA funds, and here's the metadata showing where it came from." One board member flipped through the pages and went pale. Another one looked at Diane like she'd never seen her before. Diane tried to interrupt. This is being misrepresented." The investigator cut her off flat and professional. "Ms. Harper, do you deny creating this document?" Diane opened her mouth, closed it, then went for outrage. "This is ridiculous. I was acting in the community's interest." The investigator didn't care about her feelings. He cared about the part where she impersonated me to book 5 buses, funded it through an HOA account, and led a crowd onto private property after a forced entry. That's the moment Diane lost the room. Not because I won some debate, but because reality finally caught up to her. The board held an emergency vote right there. Diane didn't get to run it. She didn't get to frame it. She didn't get to bully anyone into silence. They removed her as president on the spot. And when the investigator told her the next steps, charges, restitution, restrictions on holding any HOA position, Diane just stood there blinking behind those sunglasses like the world had betrayed her. She didn't look at me. She looked past me like she was searching for an audience that would clap. There wasn't one. Lesson. If someone uses a homeowners association like a weapon, don't fight with feelings, fight with receipts.